They said if I didn't niche down, I would fail. But what if the niche is what's keeping you stuck? Especially if you're over 40, with a lifetime of stories, skills, and ideas. I'm starting to think that the gurus might be wrong on this one. So let's take a minute and unpack this one so that you better understand what I'm talking about. When I first started YouTube, I told myself, Ricky, pick a box and stay in it. And I tried. I niched down hard. But here's the problem when you've lived 40 plus years. You've got a lot of layers. Family, work, hobbies, experiences, failures. You don't have just one interest. And every time I forced myself to talk about just one topic, I felt like I was leaving 90% of myself off the table. And honestly, that started getting exhausting. It made me not even want to create some weeks. So lately, I've started testing the waters. I'm still making videos in my main lane, but every now and then I drop a new video idea to see if I can stretch my niche out a little bit. And here's where it gets interesting, because the gurus aren't wrong. Niching down does work. It makes it easier for the algorithm to categorize you. It also makes it easier for people to know what you're talking about. But there's still plenty of creators out there that didn't follow that rule, and they still grew to have big channels, which really made me start to wonder, maybe it's not about the niche after all. Maybe it's about something bigger. Take Casey Neistat. He never had a simple niche. One day it was filmmaking tips. The next, a crazy adventure. The next, a quiet family moment. The niche wasn't filmmaking. It wasn't travel. It was Casey. People showed up because they loved him. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Ricky, I'm not Casey Neistat, which neither am I. So let's look at a few creators that you might actually be able to see yourself in. Take the Yes Theory. They bounce between experiments, deep talks, and adventures. What's their niche? From what I can tell, they don't have a specific topic, but more so a theme: to seek discomfort. Look at Kara and Nate. They started their channel with travel, then pivoted to van life, challenges, even business experiments. Their audience stuck because they loved them, not just the travel. Look at Nate Dotson with Modern Market Farmer. He's all about homesteading, but he mixes in family, side hustles, experiments. It all still works. And then look at Every Frame a Painting. They film all kinds of things, topics all over the map. But the videos were so good that it didn't really matter. These aren't unicorns. These are real people building real audiences by being consistent in voice and story, not just topic. So what's the takeaway here? People don't subscribe to boxes. They subscribe to people. Not niching gives you space to try new ideas. It really helps you avoid burnout and helps to attract an audience that sticks with you, not just your topic. And honestly, for those of us over 40, that freedom might be the only thing that keeps us creating long enough to be successful. Because if you force yourself to be in a box, you're gonna quit before you ever find your stride. Now, I'll be fair. Niching down does work. The data backs it up. The algorithm loves clarity. But maybe the real question isn't, what's my niche? Maybe it's, who am I creating for? Why would they come back? And how much of myself do I get to bring to this? So what's the truth? Do you really need a niche? Or do you need to just start creating and let the niche find you? Sit with that for a little while and think on that. I don't have all the answers. I'm just figuring a lot of this out just like you are. So if you're wrestling with the same question, stick around. We'll keep learning and figuring this stuff out together. And if you've been waiting for permission to be yourself online, you've got it.